I own that tripod.
What was that?
I said I own that tripod.
Oh, yeah.
Not the camera, but I own the tripod.
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, but it was all started by a mouse. I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, but it was all started by a mouse. According to their varying distances from the viewer. With our original picture broken down in this manner, please step into the next chapter. Control the relative speed with which each individual part of it moves to or away from the camera. And here now is our same moonlight scene, the way the multiplane camera sees it. This is the plan for a super cartoon camera. We call it the multiplane camera. The problem was how to take a painting and make it behave like a real piece of scenery under the camera. The different elements in the scene were separated according to their varying distances from the viewer. With our original picture broken down in this manner, it is possible to control the relative speed with which each individual part of it moves to or away from the camera. And here now is our same moonlight scene, the way the multiplane camera sees it. This is the plan for a super cartoon camera.
New York on Monday
We call it
morning,
the multiplane.
and he's got to show the bankers what we're
The problem
going to do.
was how to take a
And
painting
he said, you know, the bankers are, he said, they have the imagination. He's got to show them his drawings.
Hey, Sarah.
And this is all, that's the books. Well, I want to see them. Where are they? And he said, pointed at me, he said, you're going to do this.
Sarah,
Doors
come.
in front of you
Come.
open. Please step into the next chapter of the remarkable life of Walt Disney.
Look. Sarah. Bear, hawk, and bear. Bear rabbit.
Frontierland. Tall tales and true from the legendary past. Tomorrowland. Promise of things to come. Adventureland. The wonder world of nature's own realm. Fantasyland. The happiest kingdom of them all. Walt Disney's Disneyland. Each week as you enter this timeless land, one of these many worlds will open to you. Frontierland. Tall tales and true from the legendary past. Tomorrowland. Promise of things to come. Adventureland. The wonder world of nature's own realm. Fantasyland. The happiest kingdom of them all.
How did this look like?
Walt Disney's Disneyland. Each week as you enter this timeless land, one of these many worlds will open to you. Frontierland. Tall tales and true from the legendary past. Tomorrowland. Promise of things to come. Adventureland. The wonder world of nature's own realm. Fantasyland. The happiest kingdom of them all. Walt Disney's Disneyland. Each week as you enter this timeless land, one of these many worlds will open to you. Frontierland. Tall tales and true from the legendary past. Tomorrowland. Promise of things to come. Adventureland. The wonder world of nature's own realm. Fantasyland. The happiest kingdom of them all. Walt Disney's Disneyland.
Daddy, look at Mickey's face.
Each week as you enter this timeless land, one of these many worlds will open to you. Frontierland. Tall tales and true from the legendary past. What's this? Tomorrowland. Promise of things to come.
In 5 minutes, we'll begin the next showing of One Man's Dream.
Here it is.
Epcot will take its cue from the new ideas and technologies that are now emerging from the 3D centers. It will be a community of tomorrow.
These things we were on this ride. Look, you got on this ride? Hello. Hey, is everyone the wonder world of nature's own room? Oh yeah, is everyone you can see there. Come this way, so Disneyland.
Epcot will take its cue from the new ideas and new technologies that are now emerging. It will be a community of tomorrow, never be complete, that will always be introducing and testing and demonstrating new materials and new systems. And Epcot will always be a showcase to the world for the ingenuity and imagination of American free enterprise. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for everyone who participates. Speaking for myself and the entire Disney organization, we're ready to go right now. The most exciting, so far the most important part of our Florida project, in fact the heart of everything we'll be doing in Disney World, will be our experimental prototype city of tomorrow. We call it Epcot, spelled E-P-C-O-T, Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. Here it is in larger scale. Epcot will take its cue from the new ideas and new technologies that are now emerging from the creative centers of American industry. It will be a community of tomorrow that will never be completed, but will always be introducing and testing and demonstrating new materials and new systems. And Epcot will always be a showcase to the world for the ingenuity and imagination of American free enterprise. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for everyone who participates. Speaking for myself and the entire Disney organization, we're ready to go right now.
In 1 minute, the doors will open into the Walt Disney Theater for the next showing of One Man's Dream. This tribute features rare film footage and tape recordings from the Walt Disney Archives. Some are 50 to 70 years old, and while the quality may vary, we think you'll agree that they provide a unique and very personal look at a remarkable life.
Will be our experimental prototype city of tomorrow.
Ben, it's over here.
We call it Epcot, spelled E-P-C-O-T, Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. Here it is, larger scale. Epcot will take its cue from the new ideas and new technologies that are now emerging from the creative centers of American industry. It will be a community of tomorrow that will never be completed, that will always be introducing, testing, and demonstrating new materials. And Epcot will always be a showcase to the world for the ingenuity and imagination of American free enterprise. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for everyone who participates. Speaking for myself and the entire Disney organization, we're ready to go right now.
You have a board here for that one,
Son los fuegos artificiales.
I don't know, you have no plan.
Most exciting, one important part of the Florida project. Back at the heart of everything we'll be doing in Disney World will be our experimental prototype. We call it Epcot.
All right, I'm gonna go because we're getting exhibit, but we just wanted to tell you about the show that you represented from Yes.
Here it is.
All right. We will, and I'll talk to you later.
Epcot takes you of the new ideas and new technologies that are now emerging through the It will be a community of moral that will always be introducing, testing, and demonstrating new materials. And Epcot will always be a showcase to the world of ingenuity and imagination of American free enterprise. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for everyone who participates. Speaking for myself, a lifetime opportunity for everyone who participates. Speaking for myself and the entire organization, we're ready to go right now.
5 years later, we are here today to dedicate this new Magic Kingdom to Walt Disney World. To his death in December of 1966, Walt Disney was very deeply involved in the planning and designing of Disney World. His death left those of us in charge in deep shock, questioning whether or not to proceed with this Florida project without him. However, optimism and courage won out, and now, 5 years later, we are here today to dedicate this new Magic Kingdom to Walt Disney World.
That are now emerging from the creative centers of America. It will be a community of tomorrow that will never be completed, that will always be introducing, testing, and
Up
demonstrating.
to his death in December of 1966, Walt Disney was very deeply involved in the planning and designing of Walt Disney World.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
His death
for
left
everyone
those of us in
who
charge in deep shock
for myself
and
and the
questioning
entire
whether or not to
organization.
proceed with this Florida project without him. However, optimism and courage won out, and now, 5 years later, we are here today to dedicate this new Magic Kingdom to Walt Disney World.
Most exciting, our most important part of the Florida project.
Up to his death in December of 1966, was very deeply involved in the planning and designing of Walt Disney World. His death left those of us in charge in deep shock, whether or not to proceed with this Florida project without him. However, optimism and courage won out. Now, 5 years later, we are here today to dedicate
We call it EPCOT. Spelled E-P-C-O-T.
In just 10 minutes, you'll be seated for the next showing of One Man's Dream, our motion picture celebration of the life of Walt Disney.
It's your time over there.
fact, the heart of everything we'll be doing in Disney World will be our experimental prototype city of tomorrow. We call it EPCOT, spelled E-P-C-O-T, experimental prototype community of tomorrow. Here it is, our idea. That are now emerging leading countries. It will be a community of tomorrow never be repeated. It will always be producing, demonstrating, military, and EPCOT will always be a showcase to the world. Infinity and imagination of American reality. Once in a lifetime opportunity for everyone who participates. They can help themselves.
You're not guessing. Keep double doors.
Ready to go.
Have a good day. Look at this model. 1998.
Most exciting. E-P-C-O-T. Experimental, prototype, community, here it is, larger scale. EPCOT takes you from new ideas and new technologies that are now emerging better. It will be a community of tomorrow that's never be completed, that will always be producing, testing, and demonstrating military and EPCOT will always be a location in the world. Once in a lifetime opportunity for everyone who participates. Stay
a video journal of one man's dream? Proudly present.
They say that Hollywood is a town built on dreams, and one of its greatest dreamers was Walt Disney. Walt believed that any height could be scaled if you knew the secret of making dreams come true. Well, he certainly knew that secret. He touched the hearts of millions of people around the world. The story of Walt's life is truly an amazing one, and no one can tell it better than Walt himself.
My dad worked as a carpenter in the World's Fair buildings. He eventually ended up in Chicago as a contractor, and he was doing that when I was born, December 5th, 1901. But my dad made some money as a contractor, and he wanted to get back to the farm. They finally ended up buying this farm in Marceline, Missouri, and it was a beautiful farm. But it was not the kind of farm to make a living on. Things got pretty tough on the farm. My dad had a sickness. So my dad sold the farm, took the money, and went to Kansas City. And my dad bought this Kansas City Star route. And they gave me a route. I was about 9 or 10 when I started that. Winter, we'd go out at 3:30 in the morning right after a blizzard, or in a blizzard, or in pouring rain. It didn't matter. I did that for 6 years. It was tough.
It seems that everywhere Walt's father turned, he found failure, and the constant struggle took its toll on the family. One by one, the children began to leave home. Then came the day Walt woke up to find his best friend, his brother Roy, had gone as well.
My brother had joined the Navy, so I wanted to join it. Well, I was still a year too young. I was 16. Finally, this kid come in to me very excited. He says, there's something just forming here that you and I can get in. I said, what is it? He says, an ambulance unit. I was in Paris, 3rd of September, when Pershing pulled up. Paris, which had been this exciting thing, with all these soldiers and things, suddenly there wasn't a soldier to be seen. And I suddenly became very lonesome. So then I went in and put a request in to be discharged. Well, I hit Chicago. That's where my parents were living. And I said, Dad, I want to be an artist. And my dad, he just couldn't buy that. So I pulled stakes and moved to Kansas City. Roy was in Kansas City working at a bank. One of the fellows working with Roy said, say, I have a couple of friends that have an art shop. So I went up to these samples, and there were all these corny things I'd done in France. Well, my gosh, they hired me. I mean, right on the spot. So I took the camera home, and then I started experimenting on my own there. So then I went into this Kansas City Film Art Company. So that was where I got started in the animation business. So I was thinking if I had something with a novel twist, I might crack the market. But I still couldn't get anywhere with it. I'd failed. I learned a lot out of that. And I think it's important to have a good hard failure when you win.
I packed all my worldly goods in a cardboard suitcase. I went to Hollywood. Arriving there with just $40 in my pocket from my Kansas City ventures. Now, my brother Roy was already in Los Angeles. Both of us were unemployed. We solved the problem by going into business for ourselves. We established the first animated cartoon studio in Hollywood.
Walt's dream was finally coming true. He had his first commercial success, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. And Walt himself was lucky enough to marry the girl of his dreams, Lillian. a pretty ink and paint girl who worked at his studio. Then he was dealt a tough blow. On a trip to New York City, he learned that through a contract loophole, he had lost ownership of Oswald. And to make matters worse, the distributor had signed away all of Walt's artists. Devastated, he headed back home to California. But something happened along the way that would change his world forever.
Mickey Mouse came into our life.
He popped out of my mind onto a drawing pad on a train ride from Manhattan to Hollywood at a time when the business fortunes of my brother Roy and myself were at lowest ebb and disaster seemed right around the corner. His first actual screen appearance was at the Old Colony Theater in New York in Steamboat Willie. He was the first cartoon character to stress personality, and I thought of him from the first as a distinct individual. I did the voice.
Hang on, pal. Here we go.
Mickey was simply a little personality assigned to the purposes of laughter. Mickey fitted the need exactly. He brought in the money which saved the day. He enabled us to explore our medium, and he paved the way for our more elaborate screen ventures.
By nature, I'm an experimenter, so I had another idea which was plaguing my brain. It was the Silly Symphonies. It was a series without a central character.
Every one of them was a new type of subject to give us something to reach out and accomplish something different. Then we started distributing both Mickey Mouse and the Silly Symphonies. It was nip and tuck, get them out.
Walt began to push himself and his artists. He worked day and night, and when he wasn't working, he was worrying about the future. And then the inevitable happened. In 1931, he suffered what he called a heck of a breakdown. So he took Lillian on the first vacation they had ever had. By the time he got back, he was a new man and ready to get back to work.
I saw the handwriting on the wall there. It was a short subject, it was just a filler on any program. Now, if I could crack the feature field, then I could do things. I had done a little story research on different fairy tales I might do, and Snow White was one of them. I thought it was the perfect story. I had the heavy.
It's a magic wishing apple. Now, make a wish.
I had the prince and the girl, the romance. I had the sympathetic warmth and things. We started Snow White sometime late 35, and it was around 2 years in the making. We had the family fortune, we had everything wrapped up in Snow White. In fact, the banker, I think, was losing more sleep than I was. We had a big premiere, the Carthay Circle Theater, big, grand Hollywood premiere. All of Hollywood brass turned out for a cartoon.
The Daddy of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is going to be presented this beautiful statue. Isn't it bright and shiny?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Aren't you proud of it, Mr. Disney?
I'm so proud I think I'll bust.
With the profits of Snow White, I built a studio. Two years later, I was almost broke. But I had all these pictures in work. Pinocchio.
You can see there are no things on me.
Bambi. Fantasia.
That was when the war came. The whole world was collapsing then. So many of my boys went to service.
So I just practically stopped my feature production. It's all I could do. But after the war, there was quite a problem picking up the pieces. I knew that diversifying in the business would be the salvation of it. So I tried various things. I wanted to go beyond the cartoon. And I thought if I could get into the live end, there's things I could do.
Stand by engines.
Come on now, boy, get him!
Not bad, eh, Charlie? Let's open her up and see what you really do.
I wanted to look different types of things that I could say I could fall on my nose. One of these pictures, but I had another one right behind it that would hit. After a long concentration on live action and cartoon films, we decided to try something that would employ about every trick we had learned in the making of films.
Take a look!
We would combine cartoon and live action in an enormous fantasy, Mary Poppins. As the original Mary Poppins budget of $5 million continued to grow, I never saw a sad face around the studio. Even my brother Roy was happy. This made me nervous. And the horrible thought struck me. Suppose the staff had finally conceded that I knew what I was doing.
Once again, Walt Disney reinvented family entertainment, creating many of the classics we still enjoy today. But even then, he wasn't finished. He had a bigger dream in mind.
Well, it came about when my daughters were very young, and Saturday was always Daddy's Day with the two daughters. So we'd start out and try to go someplace with, different things, and I would take them to the merry-go-round, and I took them different places, and as I'd sit there while they rode the merry-go-round, did all these things, I felt that there should be something built, some kind of an amusement enterprise built where the parents and the children could have fun together. So that's how Disneyland started. It takes a lot of money to make these dreams come true. And, we had everything mortgaged, including my family. I started with many ideas, threw them away, started all over again. And eventually it evolved into what you see today as Disneyland. But it all started from a daddy with two daughters wondering where he could take them, where he could have a little fun with them too. Heart means a lot to me in that something that will never be finished, something that I can keep developing and adding to. Not only do I add things, but even the trees will keep growing. The thing will get more beautiful every year. And I knew that if I did anything like the park, I had to have some kind of a medium like television to let the people know about it.
The world is a carousel of color, history, comedy, fantasy. There's drama and mirth, there's old Mother Earth, with all of her secrets to see. The miracle of imagination, the marvels of earth, sea, and sky. These wonders untold are ours to behold in the funny world, the sunny world, the wonderful world of God.
And now your host, Walt Disney. Today, I want to share with you some of our ideas for Disney World. Here in Florida, we have something special we never enjoyed at Disneyland, the blessing of signs. There's enough land here to hold all the ideas and plans we could possibly imagine. Everything in this room may change time and time again as we move ahead. But the basic philosophy of what we're planning for Disney World is going to remain very much as it is right now. We know what our goals are. We know what we hope to accomplish. And believe me, it's the most exciting and challenging assignment we've ever tackled at Walt Disney Productions. Well, after 40 some odd years in the business, my greatest reward, I think, is that I'd have the public appreciate and accept what I've done all these years. That is a great reward. And I think by this time, my staff, my group of executives are convinced that Walt is right, that quality will out. And I think that'll hang on after Disney.
Walt Disney once said, "I hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse." But we know it was really all started by a man with a dream, and a mouse.
Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. One reach upon the star, your dreams come.
We hope you all enjoyed our presentation of One Man's Dream. Please gather all your belongings and exit to your left, and have a magical day here at Disney MGM Studios.